a global award-winning social entrepreneur. Earlier this year, I won the Home-Based Business of the Year in the MasterCard Women SME Leaders Awards for Africa, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. A journalist. So back then I was Alicia Williams, so now I'm proud to say I'm Alicia English, writing for the Plainsman. But also the most important role that I hold at this moment, a request for people to attend the launch. And I don't think we would have had space because so many people are impacted by neurodiversity, and also people who have kids or grandkids who have ADHD or other special needs, educational needs. But I want to say that each one of you are here handpicked because we see you as partners. Maybe if it is in the professional space, but also personally to myself and my family. Business for me is very personal. I do what I do. I introduce my sons because that is why I'm a Mitchell's Plain mom of 3 boys. And so what we're trying to do is, I don't want to create something that is not going to benefit my kids. I'm raising my kids in Mitchell's Plain, and I'm raising them to be strong, responsible citizens and to make impact. And so you being here today is because all of you have in some way contributed to that. So I want to acknowledge a few people, but I'm not exclusive. And here, can we give Zen a round of applause for being here? He's one of our speakers. But he can be late, but allow him it's amazing. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to say that, we have people in the room, and you are all not just strategic partners for business, but people who are making impact. And that is why you are sitting here today. And we've invited you with that idea in mind, is that you are not necessarily going to promote ICANN or my business, but that you take the heartbeat of what you're trying to do and you go and extend it in your sphere of influence. A few people that I have to acknowledge. I'm going to start with, he goes by the name. Do you want to join me? Just so that you can see who the artist is of ICANN in particular. So this is just
David. So I go for it.
You go for it.
So good morning everyone.
Morning.
I'm Darky Adams, but my brand name is Just David. So you'll see Just David as the illustrator name. I started my business in 2019, where I started selling my first commission artwork. I've been pushing since then. I challenged myself to try new mediums and new techniques and different art forms to make an impact, create to impact is kind of what we're trying to do. So not too long ago I challenged myself to get into illustration and get into books, and I met Alicia, and here we are, I'm on my 3rd book at the moment. So we're keeping it pushing. I think
children's book for the year also. We have, earlier in the year, we also published Mahalia, the Rainbow Princess. And this book is inspired by a 5-year-old girl called Mahalia from East Mitchell's Plain. And then we also published Shanta and the World, which I also authored. And this was illustrated by Native Solaris and Oz Marshall, who are 2 illustrators from Mitchell's Plain. And they hand-painted this. And then we scanned it in. I must also just say, Darky's artwork he also did by hand, and we scanned it in. And I think the thing of still seeing that there is place for traditional artwork, and not everything is technology based, although that is the future, but it's still very much the present as well. So I think that was just very important for me to recognize. And then to say that this book is, as you can see at the back, will you know Manandi Beach? If you don't know Manandi Beach, I'm thinking, so Manandi Beach, because this is a story based on a personal experience of mine about 20 years ago, walking to the beach, hoping to see that it's a whale, and I got it or something else. And I grew up in the mountains. But it's again to give acknowledgement to our stories. And I think if we look at books today, we need, I'm going to say this with all respect, we need to see more representation of children of color in books in positive stories. And none of these books would have been possible without sponsorship that I've received from the Whitaker Peace and Development Initiative. Last year, I participated in a 6-month program, 6-month program training entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs from Mitchell's Plain, and I attended it for 6 months, and then lo and behold, I graduated, and not only that, I was one of the 40 recipients, business recipients of seed funding. And so today I'm going to call up
Please, you can be seated. I've been given 10 minutes, but I'm going to make it quite short because I want to give, you cannot have Regan Adams. I mean, you don't get CEOs of big companies in functions like this. And for Regan just to take out the time to be here, we want to honor him at least just to come and take that 2-3 minutes. So I'm going to cut my time to be able to do that with your blessing. Yeah, because just from the Vertical Peace Development Initiative, we want to say thank you. It's the start of the year. Year's training. But we want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing your story to become part of our project, to be able to help. But let us be honest quickly. Alicia is one of the people that takes every opportunity. And I think without people like her, because we can have all the trainings, we have the word council here as reports that later on, just before we officially launching the book, he will pray a blessing over the book, because I believe that you always have to pray a blessing. The opportunities that you get is given to you. About taking opportunities, what we have a problem with. So the Vertical Peace Development Initiative have been here since 2019. A lot of people know about it because we do it every year in Mitchell's Plain. So you were part of the second batch of the livelihood program winners. We've trained just in the women livelihood program. We have trained 1,672 people we have trained. Now that is 1,662 ladies we've trained, of which 84 people have now, with a new 10, 92 people have won seed funding, of which she is now, remember when she said, when she preached that it was difficult because the challenge was she has a different business model, and we needed to figure out how we're going to manage it, because for the CEO we need to give feedback. Remember, being nice and giving funds away means nothing. It's being able, and that's the reason why a lot of NGOs don't get funds every year, because you cannot quantify a lot of things because it's soft things. It's beauty, we've changed lives, you've written, you've done that. So it's time to give something back. So with the CEO from RCS, he always asks us, you've got to quantify, you've got to be able to. So it was difficult having Alicia's one, and I said to her, you're challenging me because we wanted to challenge and see how we can accommodate it, because it is such an important thing to bring forth books from our areas, because that's the one thing that we're lacking. Is our own people writing about ourselves, and almost every school book is not based on our stories, and we have beautiful stories, and that's why we want to jump into that vegan, and we want to get involved, and together you have grown me. You think that I have been part of your growing, but you've grown me. Of course, she has no excuses for not achieving things. She makes things happen. And I think the biggest thing, and people, all of us here, although she has given all the praise to all of us and all the credit to us, I think we should give her a rule for not allowing any opportunity to pass by. Let's give her.
It's a real honor and privilege for me to be here. Honestly, it's quite humbling when you come into an environment or a space like this. So first, I just want to commend the school for the work that you're doing. I think, this is not a job, it's a calling. And I was watching some of the children here, and all of them really embodied this book of I Can. The one on the side here that couldn't speak, but through her actions still participated, really showed that. So I just really, this is so humbling and fantastic to see. God obviously ordained me to be here because, a couple of weeks back I was given this band by somebody at work, and it says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. God knows the beginning from the end. And we also know that every good and perfect gift is from above. That's James 1:17. So we thank God for you, Alicia. And, when I listened to Alicia's introduction, I said the last time we were at the function, you stand up and you feel quite average next to her. There's quite a lot of accolades, but as Calvin has said very well, is that we can sow the seed, but it's really up to the individual that will take that seed, and for that to nurture that seed, water that seed, and to become in the manner that Alicia is demonstrating here. I think Alicia embodies this book of I Can. What she's saying really is the art of the possible when you're not defined from where you come from, your background, whatever it is, even the adversity that Alicia went through when she was doing these books with her husband passing away, she demonstrated I can. And I think that for me is such a powerful message and a message we can all take in our everyday lives. Maybe we won't go to Dubai, but you can, what you can do in the immediate surroundings that you are. And that's really why we've been placed on this earth, is to make an impact to those around us, even if it's just one other person. So Alicia, I want to congratulate you.
Move quickly around a bit about the I Can book, how it came about. I introduced you to Jamie and my sister-in-law Daphne. And so what happened was that Jamie is in this is his final year. He's practically done with school. And so they had he was so stunning last week. His school leavers dance. So I understand that Deacon doesn't do a matric dance, but he does a school leavers dance. Am I right?
Yes.
And so about, I think it was the beginning of October, Daphne and I were talking, and Daphne is an amazing mom, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her story. And she was saying to me that she wants to have all of James' certificates. If we had to put up, I would have had to take off all the artwork because there wouldn't have been enough space for James' diplomas. And she said she wants to do this poem, I Can. She doesn't know the words, she just knows that it needs to be I Can. And we were on the phone, and then within, I think, half an hour, I wrote this poem. And as I came towards the end of it, and I believe it's Holy Spirit inspired, I said, you know what, I think I can. And she's like, what are you talking about? I said, I think I can do a book. I think I can get an illustrator. And it just so happens, and Deegan, when you talk about it seems coincidental, or that somebody gave you a bracelet like that. And I often, for those who maybe are connected to me on Facebook and personally will know that I often talk about divine connections, because my late husband prayed that prayer specifically for me, especially 5 years up to his passing, that I, for myself and my business, that I would make divine connections, and it's like God is just answering those prayers. And so just about a week or so prior to Daphne and I having this conversation, Raki contacted me to ask me if I have any work. And I said, I don't. There are no books. And I would not have met Daki if it wasn't for Tyrone and Chantley from the Mitchell's Development Action Collective, who invited me to their Youth Day event to be an MC. I thought, what are you doing? 46-year-old at the Youth Day MC, that's a match. Which came from going to Dubai, which came from so many other things. So we are all connected, And so when Daphne said, and I said, I think I can. And she's like, don't be crazy. She's like, there's a man coming. I said, don't worry, I think I can. And within a month, that was the first week in October, within a month he had finished it up. We went to print on Monday with I Can, and here we are today. And so that's how and together we are 295 and still growing. So we are all sitting now in our new 4 classes that we also had, that we're hoping to add learners as well. So we are just pausing a bit because of seeing the books, and also reading, as we know, is so important. And here at Beacon, we do it through, as you can see, Makaton sign language, and we can also sometimes understand a little. They are pre-verbal, so sometimes they cannot express themselves in words quickly, and how that impacted in a positive way, and how it will actually continue to grow positively. And I think everything with reading and that is so insightful, and it gives you that open engagement as to how we can actually find ourselves with.
That's because I've been to most of the high schools at the school and being staff in the high schools. I've got ADHD. I'm a 14 milligram concerta. I've got an autistic son, and I've got an older son that's severe ADHD, and he's on 80 milligrams concerta. I started at School of Skills in 2006. Not the easiest job. I was tasked to train kids to be chefs, and they told me none of the kids can read and write. I went home, so I lived just down the road here. I went home, got cruise ships, I've done a lot of work and stuff. And the first thing she told me is like, how can we make the sisters good? And went to the table and you know, and stuff. But there are companies like Mark and myself that are trying to change that. But we cannot. So the problem is not the lady. The problem is that most of industry doesn't. You guys that are sitting here, you came here because you know of a person with a special needs. Everybody in their households knows of someone with a special needs. But do you know how to work with that person? No. So that's where the fear comes in. That's when we start giving people labels.